You ever tell yourself, if I really tried, I could be great? Yeah, we all have. It's a fine little lullaby, ain't it? Wraps you up at night, tucks you in with possibility, whispers, someday. But here's the hard truth. That sentence isn't a dream, it's a cell. A cell with the door wide open. You ain't trapped, you just won't walk out. Tonight we're talking about the prison of potential. An invisible cage made of good intentions and half-finished promises. I've lived in it, you've lived in it. Hell, most men never leave it. So let's figure out why. The comfort's polite. He shows up with good whiskey and better reasons. He tells you you've earned it, that you've done enough. And maybe you have, for now. But stay too long in his chair and it starts shaping itself around you. Alan Watts said once the meaning of life is simply to be alive. Yet everybody rushes as if life was somewhere else. That's what comfort does. Convinces you tomorrow's the real beginning. You don't notice the rot because it smells like rest. You call it peace, but deep down you know it's sedation. Comfort doesn't steal your fire outright. He just turns the gas down till you can't remember the sound of a flame. Most men aren't afraid to fail. They're afraid to prove themselves right or wrong. As long as you stay potential, you can still be a legend in theory. The second you try, you find out. And that truth can break you or free you. Nietzsche said man is something that must be overcome. He didn't mean by others, but by the weaker version inside. That's the climb, the part of you that wants to stay safe wrestling with the part that wants to be real. Stephen Pressfield calls it resistance. The sleek inner lawyer that always argues for delay. He says the closer you get to what matters most, the louder the voice gets. So if you fear screaming, congratulations, you're near the gate. You want proof? Step. Freedom is a high cliff, brother, and your knees are supposed to shake. Psychologist Abraham Maslow drew that pyramid, needs at the bottom and purpose at the top. He said, what a man can be, he must be. That line ought to come printed on every mirror. Problem is, most of us stay halfway up. We pitch a tent where the air is comfortable, tell ourselves the view's good enough. We post a picture, call it progress. But the summit, that thin air where you're alone with your limits, that's where peace actually lives. And the path there, always uphill, always inconvenient, but never crowded. If you're bored with life, you'll probably be parked somewhere that used to scare you. The summit's still there, waiting, but no one can climb before you. Now there's a character I know too well, that inner lawyer that makes cowardice sound like common sense. Wait till Monday, do more research, make it perfect first. That's not wisdom talking, that's resistance. And she's smoother than a politician in a velvet suit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Every time you choose delay, you hand your keys to that warden. Every time you move, even when it's ugly, you take a brick out of the wall. Action doesn't wait for confidence. Confidence comes from action. So let me level with you. I've done my time in that cell, stared at projects that could have changed my life, and closed the laptop. Told myself I was thinking it through. The truth is, I was scared of being ordinary. Nietzsche said, no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. And that one woke me up, because one night I asked myself, are you gonna die with all that potential still locked inside you? And that question, it burned. Because the next morning I stopped waiting for clarity and started chasing courage. 2 minutes of action, that's all it took. Didn't feel like a breakthrough, felt like sweat. But 2 minutes turned into 10, 10 into an hour, and somewhere in there, the walls started to crack. If you're gonna break out, you'll need tools. A why that scares you a little. Nietzsche again, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. I know I'm saying this in all videos, but it's very important to find your why. And if your why doesn't make you nervous, then it's too small. A rule so simple you cannot dodge, like a one page, one push-up, one honest call. Discipline isn't punishment, it's identity on repeat. You need a brother who keeps you honest, a brand that calls you out, not one who lets you coast. So you don't find yourself, you build yourself. Every choice, every repetition, every time you do the hard thing when nobody's watching, that's the forge. Maslow believed true peace comes only when you become what you're capable of. That's the climb, that's the work, that's the war. Identity isn't something you discover, it's something you decide over and over again. So stop searching for meaning like it's a lost treasure. Start hammering it into shape. Now it's time to move. This is your mission. Do one thing you've been postponing. Say one truth you've been avoiding. Tell one major goal out loud. Potential dies in silence, but it grows in motion. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be done. Look around you, brother. Those bars you see, they're made of maybe. And maybe ain't metal, it's smoke. Step through it. Feel that air hit your chest. That's freedom. Feels strange, don't it? Bruce Lee said, knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. So, move, build, become. Potential is a fine thing to have, but it's a hell to die with. This is the present war. Now go win yours. See you next time.